With Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming out soon, I thought it would be fun to do a theme challenge to build up a little hype for the game. I ran the idea by you guys, and a majority of you wanted to see it. So here we are with today's challenge. Can you beat Borderlands 2 with only the power of friendship? In this challenge, we will be utilizing the Mysterious Amulet from the Tina DLC and the Unicornsplosion shotgun from the Lilith DLC. Before I show you the rest of the build, I'm going to throw the rules at you real quick. First off, we will be playing on OP10 as always. Second, we will be playing as Krieg and require a few specific skills to add to the challenge. More on that in a second. No bar, and most importantly, you gotta bring the homies. Now that everyone's been introduced, let's go over the rest of the skills and gear. We were all repping the legendary Reaper class mod for that sweet bloodbath boost, and to make kill skills last almost 5 times as long. We also have a basic shield and slag grenade just to balance things out. As for those required skills I was talking about, fuel the rampage is required so that team damage is something we have to consider, and redeem the soul because real homies would risk it all for each other. The rest of the build is centered around mostly bloodbath and explosive damage with very little melee boosts. I tried to balance it out so melee was somewhat viable, but not our main source of damage. And we also have one unspent skill point for a little trick you guys will see later in the run. Right off the bat, I taught everybody about the build we were working with. Basic stuff like how to heal, don't shoot your homies, try to proc bloodbath when you can, etc. You guys might also notice that we're all leaving glitter trails everywhere we go. And that's thanks to the Mysterious Amulet. The more people wearing one, the more intense the sparkles get. Often throughout the playthrough, we end up crop dusting each other with these sparkles. Our guns even make fart noises to really add to the immersion. We charged into our first battle not knowing how it would go. We were all still learning how to handle this challenge, and some of us even learned the hard way. I tried to go in for some melee attacks during Buzzak's Rampage and got totally decimated by friendly fire damage. We quickly learned to call out melee targets so that we could coordinate better. Like I said before, melee isn't the main damage source for this run, and it's barely viable. But on the other hand, I'd be lying if I said it's absolutely useless. For example, the benefit of getting a kill in Buzzak's Rampage is that you get a ton of bloodlust stacks per kill, which is useful because getting stacks is hard with our current build. These stacks are what make bloodbath so potent, and also help with mag size, reload speed, etc. I'm being real with you guys, the beginning fight really fried my brain. Like right here, I just shoot my homies for no reason. I didn't even notice this until editing, so sorry, Queenite. Well, the fight only resulted in 2 deaths, so that wasn't too bad. We were off to fight Boom Boom, or at least that's where we thought we were going. It's really hard to see anything in combat. The general rule of thumb is to shoot when you see your health bar or your reticle is red, and just hope you hit something. We weren't that coordinated at first, so this small bandit camp took a while. Eventually, we strategized amongst ourselves and all of us focused fire on the same baddies. Also, just as an FYI, from here on out, the death counter is going to be inaccurate. I just couldn't keep track of everything going on, so this one's my bad. And by inaccurate, I mean sometimes I just held the button down when I was dying, so it went up by like hundreds. Just ignore it. The plan for Boom Boom was simple. I would run in and lure Boom to the elevator first, and we would deal with him there. However, our grenade supplies were low, and we had already looted all the chests around. Buying more grenades wasn't quite an option yet because we were still broke since we had just started, so we had to devise a new plan. If one of us would run out of ammo, we would hop in and try to deal what damage we could while also trying to block him from running away. After we fought our best and did what we could, we would die for the homies, leaving a slag grenade behind from pull to pin. After brute forcing it with this strat for a while, we got the kill. As for Boom, we had a plan for him as well. Step 1 was for me to run up and jump on his turret and make him focus on me, while Lucas would be close by on psycho duty and helping with revives when possible. And Tom and Queenite were far off sending stampede after stampede of shots at the turret. I used some of the grenades Boom dropped to slag him, and after 3-ish minutes, the bloodbath kicked in and the last third of his health got decimated. Couple of close calls and insta-bleed outs later, we managed to get more bloodbath from psycho kills and good slag luck to take him out. After that, I noticed that the door was taking damage, so we thought it'd be funny to kill it without the turret. But...
Oh no.
Wait. Oh no.
yeah, we soft-locked the game. But on the bright side, Boom Boom didn't spawn again, so it was a simple fix. The path to Flint was open, and it was time to make it to the top. A pre-game huddle decided that we would run past the first bit of enemies, which wasn't the easiest, so we made Tom our designated checkpoint grabber, while the rest of us made sure that no one was left behind. Homies never leave each other behind. Even if they fall into deadly hypothermia-inducing frigid cold ice water, we have to go for them. It's not an option. So when Queen Knight fell in, I had to think quick. The plan was to just chain revives back and forth and gain as much distance as we could before hypothermia kicked in. This wasn't Borderlands 2 anymore. It was Saving Private Queen Knight. We all died to save her, and she was almost back to safety. The best we could do from here was cheer her on from the sidelines as she ran back to the mainland. A couple of lads even seen us use the power of friendship and decided to join the cause.
Oh, there's psychos behind us?
No, they're homies. They're homies.
Oh.
After a bit more mobbing, well, I think I was mobbing, it was kind of hard to see, like, anything at all. Anyway, we made it to the Flint fight. Before we jumped in, we devised a plan. One of us would lure Flint over towards our safe area, and 3 of us will attempt to deal as much damage as possible, while Queen Knight will be our designated medic that we can crawl to. Everything was going according to plan, and Flint looked like he was about beat, but we rushed in too soon and ruined everything. We all started dying, Flint kept healing and healing and healing. After about 20 minutes, we got our bearings together, and in an epic final stand, we managed to end his reign of terror. Finally, at 3 Horns, our next objective was to situate a car. There wasn't really any mandatory combat for this part, but these bullymongs were straight up relentless. We may have died, but on the bright side, our cars were straight up ballin'. That's right, everything is rainbow around here, even our exhaust fumes were glitter. You know what they say, if you're gonna pollute the planet, at least make it aesthetic. Corporal Reese was in some trouble, and since this challenge is all about friendship, the least we could do was go and save it. Oh, he's dead. Well, in that case, let's just make sure to kill the 20 bandits for him. Finally, Sanctuary, where all the homies are at. Speaking of homies, PK Lucas has a message for the YouTube squad. He also wanted me to show you guys this graph. We are up 8% from the last video, which is super awesome. If you have watched any amount of my videos and are enjoying the content, you might as well sub. And if you're already subbed, good job, I'm proud of you. Anyway, back to gaming. Speedrun Canyon had its usual start. I was thinking I was going to smoke everybody in this race, but Tom straight up teleported to the end, precisely why he was designated checkpoint grabber. We had a little bit of trouble on the way when Queen Knight decided that she didn't want to walk anymore and tried to have a psycho carrier. Don't worry though guys, she's fine. Watching her attempt at taming a wild animal gave me an idea. And right then, we devised a new strategy. I call it res running. This strat utilizes fight for your life riding mechanics and redeem the soul's insta-revive to make for an easy medic evac. To perform this when your friend is down, first call out that you're going to res them and tell them to get ready to run. Then jump above them and press the revive button, thus landing on their head and letting them run you guys to safety. If their redeem the soul isn't active, they can also revive you as you're running. The power of friendship and teamwork is a great thing. Our first non-homie NPC arrived to ruin our day. Honestly, Lilith wouldn't have been that bad if her phase blast didn't hurt us. Whatever, we can camp out on the bridge where she can't get us and deal with the 3 super psychos. Or wait, 12 super psychos. It turns out 4-player difficulty also adds more enemies as opposed to just stronger enemies, so I guess that's good to know. All of us were running out of ammo quickly and frequently, and since we were all still broke, I ran back, acquired loot, hit the skip again, and shot my gun 8 times before running out of ammo. Some of us had other ideas, like Queen Knight. Bless her soul. We were shooting, but mostly slicing as psychos for upwards of an hour. After saving the useless character, it was time to save the necessary character that the challenge may or may not have depended on. First thing we need to do is acquire a new whip. The cars we needed to destroy are weak, but I ended up getting ran over anyway. A few times. The second time I was just chilling when a car decided to ram the caravan into the back of my head. The deaths were worth it though, because now we have a truck that can hold all the homies. This is usually the part of the run where I say, bad ma hard, but honestly, there was another big psycho that took longer than him. We cornered him a few times, but good god, these guys are super tanky. Let's all take time to appreciate the fact that these guys don't have health regen, otherwise this would be a quick video. Bad ma, like I said, wasn't as bad, but still took a while. It would have been nice to get bloodbath from his shield homies, but we killed him off too early. The Bloodshot Stronghold was one of the most obnoxious parts of the run. The mobbing area before Mad Mike is literally a shithole. And the enemies here have the high ground, and getting close enough for efficient kills was just tough. Also, let's not forget about all the ironclad psychos. But the absolute worst part was when Steam servers went down and kicked everyone from the game. It could have been a simple fix. Just had to wait for the homies to rejoin. But this wouldn't be a gas mask challenge run without dumb glitches. We had a game crash, meaning I had to run through all the obnoxiousness again. Since we got through all the mandatory combat here before the crash, I decided running through the next save was fair since we were practically right there anyway. Finally at the dam, we faced one of our scariest fights we were all dreading. The Warden. Constructors usually have upwards of 90% damage reduction to explosive damage, meaning we were going to have to put all of our offense into this fight. While going through the Friendship Gulag would have been pretty thematic for this run, it was not an option. With our plan ready, we charged in, and the fight went fan-tastic. I believe 2 or 3 of us were actually able to get Bloodbath to proc off loader kills, and with the 5 times duration, we absolutely annihilated Warden. And just like that, Roland was saved. Next up was our scheduled tea time with Tina. We decided to split up into 2 teams to get through this area faster. Me and Lucas snuck into the bandit camps for the badonkadonks, while Tom and Queen Knight talked to Tina and made the bombs. With the power of teamwork, it only took us 4 minutes to blow up the train and head towards the Wilhelm fight. This fight started off a bit rough just because he likes to spawn 16 loaders right as the fight starts, but after they were dealt with, Wilhelm created his own demise. The surveyors he spawns are like super easy for getting bloodbath, so he didn't survive much longer. With the Logan's gun he dropped installed in the Sanctuary shield system, and having my life saved by the homies after Lilith's attempted assassination, it was time for the fridge run. It went pretty bad for all of us honestly, but Tom did a great job as checkpoint grabber as he usually does, so the pain was short-lived. After making it through the fridge with 8 more hard nipples than we walked in with, it was time to visit everybody's favorite thresher, Mr. Noodle. He was a real pain to deal with this time around. Damage was slow, and his shields just kept coming back. But with a lot of teamwork and close calls, we managed to get the beacon back. Now, I really want to tell you guys, we defended the beacon with everything we had, it didn't get destroyed, and we killed all the loaders. But no, this was just chaos and pain. The beacon eventually hit the invincible stage, and the fast travel dropped, but even with just trying to rush the fast travel, we kept dying. It took 10 minutes of trying to rush it and make sure no one was down before we managed to escape that mechanical nightmare. But the pain didn't stop there, because up next was the Preserve. We started out getting our butt cheeks chomped by rabid stalkers. But if we're looking on the bright side, wounding loaders is way easier with 4 players, so that was pretty cool. The mobbing wasn't crazy difficult, except for the stalkers, based on how they're built and the whole invisibility thing. Basically, it was just really tough to deal damage to them. I managed to get a crazy bloodbath chain for most of the first mobbing area, which paired with the revives I was getting, saved a lot of time. The ultimate loader was surprisingly weak compared to other big enemies we have faced. The real challenge we faced was totally optional, but we needed to know who would win in a 4v4.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no, this is impossible.
Oh no,
Jet
not the
loader?
jet loader.
Well, we died pretty fast. We managed to take out 3 of them, but with no drops sadly, but the 4th was a jet loader and flew away. A bit more mobbing and we made it to the end. Bloodwing was upon us, and she knew I was bringing friends this time around, so she came prepared with her own secret weapon. Not only did we have to deal with Bloodwing, but the jet loader is dropping missile strikes on us as well. Bloodwing being fast and airborne made hitting shots extremely hard with the guns we were using. Her mistake though was landing on the ground frequently, allowing us to focus our fire. We brought ponies to a bird fight, and and by God, it was actually working. Our teamwork was on point during this fight. Most of our deaths were fast bleedouts after too many soul redemption revives, but other than that, we were executing SWAT-style maneuvers. Bloodwing landed while 2 of us had bloodbath, and we practically sealed the deal there, bringing Bloodwing and I's rivalry score to 2-2. Tie game, baby, let's go! We had one homie left to recruit, and he was a buff pony lover just like the rest of us. Obstacle 1 was another big psycho. Obstacle 2 was Brick's Goons. The age-old strat of getting a Goliath to go God mode was our best option. But in the end, we would have to slay the god we created. This is the part where y'all think too hard trying to find a deeper meaning in something I just made up. Anyway, after jumping the sarcastic slab, we started punching robots with Brick. Also, here's a classic Tom joke.
Hey guys, how does Brick kill loaders?
How?
I don't want to know.
He breaks their motherboard.
That's going in the video.
With the boys, and Lilith, finally reunited, it was time to get the last thing needed for the bunker raid. The Jack Double was our next target, and let me tell you, this was a long fight. I feel like every time I fight this wannabe in a challenge run, I get some cursed, desperate POV of me trying to kill him. I can't get through this line without laughing. It's staying like that. This fight was extra tough because not only was his shield tanky, but he also has the power to instantly refill his shields, I guess? Lucky for us, however, he constantly summons reinforcements, aka bloodbath fodder. With both advantages and disadvantages in this fight, it was a real roller coaster. We got close a few times, but this insta-shield trick gave him a lot of time to regen his health. After a good 30 minutes, the game gave up and the Jack Double got stuck. Lucas and I would take turns going in for damage while Queen Knight and Tom distracted the reinforcements. Shortly after that, Fake Jack's fake face was sliced off. Finally, with all the tools acquired, it was time for the bunker raid. Obstacle 1 wasn't anything new for us, a simple constructor fight and the first door is open. Obstacle 2 was the one I was most worried about, the infamous baby turrets. For those of you who don't know, these turrets are completely immune to splash damage for some reason, meaning the only damage they would take were from direct pony contact. These guys also have some anime protagonist health regen, which makes progress incredibly fragile. Luckily, we were all Krieg and fought a glitch with another glitch. Infinite vertical melee is a thing in BL2 where you can melee anything directly above you, no matter how high it is. I know we didn't use just the Unicornsplosion to take them out, but it's because of a glitch, so I think it's fair. If their blast immunity was intended, the word resist would show up instead of damage numbers, so I don't feel bad about this at all. The third obstacle before bunker was our tankiest enemy yet, the Super Constructor. We all hid and started laying into him as best as we could. Now, if you viewers learned anything from this fight, let it be that horses beat nukes.
No.
Oh, can I shoot the nuke? Please. Nuke, come after me. Please. Yes. I shot the nuke with a horse. I shot the nuke with a horse. Oh god. Somebody shoot the nuke. No, it's coming after me. Please, no. No.
This fight wasn't necessarily hard, it just took 20 minutes to finally take him out. And finally, the last test before bunker, Base McShooty. We opened fire and aimed high to lob our shots in hopes to land a hit. We suspected that the shots were disappearing, and we were right. They were actually only making it about halfway. Sniping from this distance wasn't an option, so me and Lucas tried a closer spot. Even at this range, it took a solid 20 minutes to actually hit it though. Mostly because another one of these heathens kept throwing pipes at us. It was now time for us to start the epic bunker battle. The autocannons were a breeze to take out, but a few hot loaders in our area were giving us some trouble at first. Other than them, it was easy peasy. The bunker fight was going to be a long one, but by this time in the challenge, our coordination was more refined. We were hitting res runs with perfect execution. We were setting up bloodbath kills to unload on bunker, and our minds were more in tune than they ever were. Even with all these great things going on, this fight still took over an hour. Turrets not included. And no, we didn't even get a 94 sham for all of our effort. The Angel Corps was up next, and we were ready for anything after that last fight. Some tougher mobs were showing up, but with focused fire, we trampled over the angelic guards. Get it? Trampled? Because we're shooting horse. Come on, please. This time around, we discovered a new strat of saving the shock field generators because they're easy to kill and give second wins, which helped a bit. Also, we had Roland and his turret, which gave us tons of ammo. You know what didn't help though? Lilith constantly phase blasting us out of nowhere. Honestly, fuck Lilith, bro. She actually pissed me off with her bullshit. Why the fuck does she come in, murk us, and then just say, "Howdy, boys." Since when were you a fucking cowboy, Lilith? We told you not to come here. Can you please leave and make sure not to cripple us on your way out? Thanks. Fucking A. Howdy, boys. What the fuck even is that? Okay, got that out of my system. Cool. Anyway, Control Core Angel took about an hour to kill everything, but on the bright side, it was time for the final stride towards the vault and Jack. Psych! Welcome to Sawtooth Cauldron, boys! This place was terrible. The good old spawn camping from the ambush commander prank really got on our nerves. This was probably the most visual pollution I have seen in this run. It was to the point where I couldn't even see myself dying.
Can't even see my body, dude.
There wasn't anything to do, except just unload into the horde until the objective checked off. Would you believe me if I said that wasn't even the worst part? The buzzards were pretty much impossible to hit consistently, and we had to kill 5 of them, bro. Oh my. I'll go over some of the strats we tried to use to handle these guys. First off, our best chance of killing buzzards was for them to just get stuck on some part of the tower so we could focus fire and take them out. That requires a lot of waiting and hoping though, so we also tried something else. We would ride the elevator down so that the buzzards would despawn and ride back up and try to catch the buzzards right as they spawned. I even attempted to ride the spawning buzzards by downing myself and landing on top of it, but it wasn't working too good. We also tried to go to other parts of the map to kill buzzards with low movement options, but couldn't find any. The actual method of how we killed them will surprise you. The first one got stuck and made for an easy kill. The second one got stuck and we managed to shoot it down. The third one somehow managed to get stuck, so it was a sitting duck. The fourth one, however, got stuck, so that one was easy. And the fifth one, get this, actually got stuck in a spot where it couldn't move. It's pretty freaking weird, right? It also only took 75 minutes, so we actually did all that pretty fast. Right, guys? Right? We weren't in the boneyard for too long because we split up to the different pumping stations and the pipeline, so teamwork saved us some time there. The Badlands, however, are usually tough because of a certain boss. But what if I told you we weren't going to need to deal with any of that? I think it's about time we use that extra skill point. Speccing into Light the Fuse gives us a new technique I like to call totem poling. As shown before, when you are in a down state or fight for your life, you can ride on top of your friends, but will bounce off as soon as you are revived. The reason for bouncing off isn't because we are no longer in fight for your life, but because of a transition from being crouched to a standing position. With Light the Fuse, you never crouch when going down, and can run and jump, so when revived, you will stay on top of your friend's head. Repeat this process stacking from the bottom until your tower is made. Using this strat, you can effectively reach heights of around 7 times higher than your normal jump, which gave us a way to sneak past everything.
Like I'm just jumping off the rock.
Yeah.
Oh,
both
nice.
made it.
Both of you are.
Perfect. Perfect.
The true power of friendship prevailed again, and we made our escape. In a way, you could say we beat Saturn with only Light the Fuse, and that is truly awesome. After respecking out of Light the Fuse because it's terrible in OP levels 1 or higher, we made our way to the final stretch. The claptrap door wasn't too bad. We just needed to make sure we took out this super surveyor while it was distracted, otherwise we could have a sequel to the Buzzard's Nest.
The run through Hero's Pass should have been easy, since we have Mordecai and Brick there to help us out.
But a loot goon spawned, Brick glitched out, and I had to spec into Light the Fuse to skip a barrier because they wouldn't open the door. And we absolutely couldn't get past the super constructor with enough time to travel to the vault. To keep a long story short, we tried to fight Jack, but I was spec'd into Light the Fuse still, and it was doing more harm than good. The ending explosion radius is huge, and I would just down anyone around me, so going for a revive was a huge risk. We decided to run back to Sanctuary to respec and just run through Hero's Pass again.
This time wasn't bad because we got to the door before the constructor even spawned. And now it was time for the real fight.
This fight honestly was really tough, and the mask wasn't coming off until it was done.
This is supposed to be the part where I talk about the glitch where he went invincible and we had to reset the map.
but this is supposed to be a wholesome video, and I already let all my rage out on the cowboy giraffe. Okay, as for the real fight, phase 1 was super easy. His shield is pretty tanky, but his clones are super weak, so revives and bloodbath are practically spoon-fed to us. Phase 2, however, was the real challenge. Jack's health regen is pretty tough, almost as tough as the baby turrets, and he also has a shield surveyor that has to be destroyed in order to deal more damage to him. This fight was a constant tug of war, and to show it off, here's the fight at 1 minute per second speed. Just look at the health bar. Bloodbath at the time was scarce, but things were looking up. Jack stopped spawning his shield drones, but started spawning his field turret instead, which was going to be our savior. These things are relatively weak, so Bloodbath was back on the table.
I'm probably gonna win the bloodbath. Win it. Win the bloodbath kicking in. Win the bloodbath kicking in. Let's go.
Ooh.
The warrior was here, and it was time for a fight. Crystalisks started spawning, which were susceptible to both melee and explosive damage, which were our specialties. The warrior fought hard, but he was no match for us. We had everything we needed to win this fight, and that is each other. The warrior eventually seen what we were capable of, and willingly let us fill his heart with the power of friendship. With the warrior down, we all celebrated. Queen Knight high-fived Jack a little too hard, but in the end, at least we know. You can beat Borderlands 2 with only the power of friendship. The run, however, isn't done. We still have some bonus content to tackle if you guys want to stick around and see us take on these DLCs. First off, we did Turkey DLC because it was the day before Turkey Day, and what better way to celebrate massacres than to blow stuff up, am I right? This DLC got pretty chaotic. The key points were the opportunity tributes that took a long time to kill. We're talking about 30 minutes to kill Rose and this clown shoot idiot. We had the jabbers after that, which would have went fine, but we had to kill them while they were slagged for the mission to progress. Hitting these guys with bullets or grenades is already tough enough. Luckily, Tom snagged a homing slag grenade at some point and made this doable. This only took 15-ish minutes to do, but that's relatively still a lot for what it was. On the bright side, we were finally able to cook Lucas like the snack he is, and fought the Waddle Gobbler, which was just your pretty standard easy to dodge moves but really tanky health bar fight, nothing crazy. So we also did the Grandma Torg missions, but in Japanese, so she didn't really talk and the voice lines were just skipped, which is already cursed enough, but getting the candy for her got even more cursed. One of the heathens we needed to kill ran out into the ocean where we couldn't kill him. Guess we have to wait until Wonderlands to blow up the ocean. Round 2 went a little bit better. He was a lot closer this time, so we were able to kill him. The whole thing was just really cursed. We all kind of regretted doing the side mission TBH, but I guess you can beat the horrible hunger of the ravenous Waddle Gobbler with the power of friendship. Did you guys know that was the full title? Because I didn't. Let's move on to the first big DLC, which was the Tina DLC. Our mission: save the queen. Our first obstacle: total pushovers. Literally, the skeletons are so frail that a single shot actually staggers them like a grenade or something. Mr. Bony Pants guy was also a joke, so the docks went by quick. Flame Rock Refuge shouldn't have been hard, but the fire barrels used to light the blimps didn't work for some reason. I tried using Krieg's Fire Breath skill to do it, but that also didn't work, so we just did a quick reset and the problem was fixed. Finally, at the forest, the difficulty started to ramp up a bit. We were no longer fighting skeletons, we were fighting trees. Strong trees. Tina forgot to balance the combat, so this stump was level 138. Like, imagine the peak runs you would need to do to get to OP 58. Anyway, the rest of the forest was alright. We stole the blood fruit pacifistically and made it to the spooky version of the forest. Here we found the most important thing we needed to beat this run: our homie Roland. After killing a dragon and realizing one of us was a dragonborn, we headed for the Tree of Life, where everything started to go downhill. Actually, downhill doesn't describe it. It was more like things were going off of a cliff. We planned for the Ghost Kings to be tough, don't get me wrong. What really grinds my gears is that someone over at Gearbox HQ decided to make these guys resistant to all elements and gave them health regen. I don't know the rules for who does and doesn't get regen in UBHM, but an exception should have been made for these goons. Taking the first phase out was easy, but when they turned into fast-flying heads of suffering, is when we almost gave up. This was one of those times where I was about to ring the bell and deem this challenge impossible. We tried many strats to take these guys out, like luring them out of the arena and hoping they just get stuck somewhere, getting bloodbath, but that wasn't easy because most of the enemies had the immortality sword in their back and it wouldn't give it to us anyway, and we even tried old-fashioned slicey dicey strats, but to no avail. The 4v4 between the Ghost Kings and the Gas Mask Gang was looking grim, but we were looking at it the wrong way. It wasn't a 4v4, it was a 5v4. Roland, the absolute legend, was going to be our key to victory. We noticed that his turret was actually dealing relevant damage to the Ghost Kings. It was just a matter of the head being close enough for the shots to hit, and the body being far away enough because it would confuse the turret. First head was the easiest because we still had normal enemies to get bloodbath off. The second was probably the toughest. At first we got close, but we ran out of bloodbath and eventually healed back to full. We tried to reset the map for more enemies, but that was a bad idea because the first Ghost King came back. This time around, we didn't get much bloodbath for the first fight, but somehow still managed to kill him and get our progress back. This is when we tried the aforementioned lure strat that just didn't work. And right as I was about to give up, the second Ghost King just died.
Alright, let's see. Let's look at bug page on Ghost Kings. Ghost Kings.
Wait a sec.
BL2.
You killed it.
Wait,
Wait,
how?
What?
I don't know. I just went back in the arena and it's dead.
Huh?
Cheese strat, we just abandoned Roland.
We did it,
By
yeah!
himself.
Wait, what the?
My theory is that he went into a non-combat stillness and Roland's turret just laid into him. Which really surprised us because we didn't see Roland throw out his turret up until now. With our newfound hope, we went back in and fought through the other kings, making sure to fight the head as far away from the body as possible, so the turret would put in the work. Even with this strat, it was highly reliant on things mostly out of our control. After nearly 2 hours, we finally took out the last king and ended the worst fight in Gas Mask Challenge history. It was time for the mines. The dwarves here were a lot tankier than we anticipated, but nothing compared to what we just beat, so we were fine. After getting up on Ragnar the Emancipator, we completed the jumping and cube puzzles, both correctly, and then went to fight Greedtooth. We tried befriending him, but he was still mad about us punching his boss. Luckily for us, he spawns a bunch of dwarves, so bloodbath is easy pickings, and Lucas also rolled a 20 on his perception check and noticed there was a damage shrine in the arena. We combined that with our bloodbath for some major damage. Later in the fight, some aerial golems spawned in, but we kind of just ignored them because they were just kind of jokes. Anyway, 20-minute gold golem fight, not too bad. Hatred Shadow was our next challenge. First thing first, we had to kill a darkness with ponies, because symbolism. And next we had a couple of mobbing areas filled with tough knights and wizards, and at the very end, we had the handsome dragon. First, we have established this already, but flying enemies are super annoying. We're shooting unicorns, not Pegasi, so it's kind of cheating on their end. Secondly, bloodbath was kinda off the table because the baby dragons were surprisingly tanky, and even if we could proc bloodbath, our stacks were usually low because sustained damage was hard to keep up with, so even if we had it, it wouldn't do much. And so the patience game began. Lucas and I, being the chaotic individuals we are, were right out in the open trying to do what we could. Tom and Queen Knight, though, were chilling on the sidelines acting as cheerleaders for us. Those two were roasting us more than the dragon during this fight, so yeah, I went there.
Do you guys know why that's the cringe end of the bridge and this is the cool one? Because you guys are there. Oof.
Got him.
After a long fight, we were so close to winning when disaster struck. Steam servers went down again. We could have waited and this would have been fine, but for some reason my game straight up kicked me from the map and Borderlands was soft locked into this restoring session cycle. So not only did we have to do that whole fight all over again, we had to do the whole map's worth of mobbing as well. Why can't things ever just go smoothly, bro? What's with all these glitches and bugs? Like, come on! It's never just, Claptrap said his voice line twice, that's a weird glitch. It's always some never-before-seen, Jack turned invincible, Tom fell through the map, brick won't move, game soft-locking bullshit. Okay, breathe easy, breathe easy. Okay, back to the run. Both dragon fights took about 30 minutes each, not including all the mobbing required, but in the end, we made it barely holding on to our sanities. The Lair of Infinite Agony was actually quick. There's no mandatory mobbing here, so the only thing we had to worry about was finding Mr. Miz to get our extra Mysterious Amulet. And finding him wasn't too bad, so all we had to do was buy the... Well, it's fine. Everything is fine. All 4 of us pitch in. We should have enough. I sold all my gear and asked Queen Knight for some money, but she thought it was a scam and wanted me to explain why we needed it and threatened to punch Mr. Wiz, which would have restarted the challenge. And Lucas was also killing him with jump damage, and I was just panicking across the board. Queen Knight decided to duel me for the money, and with hours of pain on the line, I decided to play it cheap for the greater good. With all of our life savings combined, we were able to buy the amulet with the worst possible friendship rating. The Sorcerer's Daughter was our next fight, and with all the fragile spiders around, bloodbath chains were easy to come by, but this fight still lasted a while for one reason.
This was not big arm. No, 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 no!
We probably did enough damage during this fight to kill her 3 times, but the health regen powers were so powerful. We discovered that she could only leech us if we got too close, so the new strat was to stay as far away as possible. She still cut us lacking a few times after the new plan, but we eventually got our shit together and finished her off. I made a mistake right after the fight. I rolled 2 dice on this chest, and rolled 2 13s. Guys might not know, but this number always foretells bad luck for me. Rolling 2 of them meant something most unfortunate was going to happen. With paranoia high, we went to the top of the tower to face our final boss. Phase 1 seemed simple. His clones were easy bloodbath, just like in real life, but taking him out was going to take a while.
The shield doesn't regenerate? I hope not.
No, why'd you say it?
We quickly devised a new strat to save our slag grenades for when his shields were depleted to put as much damage into his health bar as we could. Even with this strat, he managed to recharge his shield 9 times during this fight. Phase 2 was honestly the easiest. No shield regen, and he summoned more pushover skeletons, so nothing much to note. Which brings us to Phase 3. This phase had the largest health bar so far, and the mobs he summoned were dragons again, so bloodbath was no longer an option. We were so close to beating him. But that double 13 I rolled earlier finally came into play.
What?
What?
Why does its health go up?
No, no.
No! What the happened?
No.
We lost a good 40 minutes of progress, and it only got weirder after that. We almost had to call an exorcist because there were 2 instances of us just flying off of each other.
We're flying! What's going on? We're flying!
Help me! Help me!
We stuck on you.
What is that?
What is going on?
I don't know.
Our spirits were on the brink of breaking. The only thing keeping us going was each other. And after 2 long hours of fighting the sorcerer, we finally ended his reign of terror. And all we were rewarded with was more ammo. And also the knowledge that you can beat Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon Keep with the power of friendship. One more DLC left, the Giraffe DLC. We start off trying to defend Sanctuary before these insane X-Style military goons decide to start gassing us. And with us being the gas mask gang, we didn't have an issue at all. But Lilith, for some reason, is still calling the shots and straight up kidnapped us, and Hector made off with the most important thing in the universe. Back on actual ground, the game showed us that we're bad at fighting plants for the 2nd DLC in a row. There were a lot of plant psychos, and the chaos was really starting to get to us. We ended up shooting each other multiple times throughout this fight, but the last thing we were going to do is let some garden beat us. Anyway, we met Vaughn, and our next mission became clear. We had to figure out how this gas stuff worked. Testing included collecting infected brains and inhaling the gas ourselves for a sweet damage boost. We got the brains scanned, but the new Pandorans decided to launch an attack on our new base, so we had to defend it. This time around, the baby turrets were on our side, so we were practically Oh, what? They died already? These things were supposed to be invincible. No. So we fought these guys for a while before they ran out of vegetation to throw at us. Speaking of vegetation, our boy Mordo caught the plant disease, so we needed to save him. Luckily, Talon is here to help us kill literally only this one guy in the cutscene for us, and leave us to deal with the other 14 that all seem to have blast-proof shields. These guys were pretty tough, so we did what anyone would do. Inhale some plant gas so our guns were stronger, cause that makes total sense. Callan led us to where we needed to go by pooping out a trail for us, and Mordecai was officially diagnosed with plant. We needed to find a cure fast. Luckily for us, Cassius had what we needed. Getting to him was going to take some work. And by work, I mean using a giant space laser to open a door. We had to fight through some more Garden Gang members to get to the laser, but Brick showed up and he's been hitting the gym. Homie was level 116, so he could bite through any plant. Well, almost any plant. We made it to Helios Fallen, and I think you all know where this is going. We had to fill Uranus with unicorns. I will say the amount of unicorns Uranus was able to handle was impressive. The stamina as well. Uranus was taking unicorn poundings for a solid 20 minutes. Okay, that's my butthole joke quota for the year? Yeah, for the year. Let's get back to something that might actually be funny. The path to Cassius was open, and we moved with haste because our homie Mordo wasn't doing too good. Cassius ended up consuming too much plant gas, but he didn't seem to care. He managed to create the cure, but ended up too far gone, so we had to take him out. Fight was going pretty slow just because we couldn't get kill skills, but then we found this hentai room that we farmed for bloodbath. Nothing too crazy here, honestly. We've had tougher 20-minute fights. A quick run-through of the gas-infested engine room, and we made it to the final boss fight. Hector. Yes, such a scary-looking boss, but such an underwhelming name for a finale. Plant Gang was going down whether they liked it or not. Lilith was also here, which wasn't too bad actually, because it seemed like her kills gave us second wins, but I don't know if that was real. Hector quickly found out he was no match for the power of friendship, so he had a clever idea to try to defeat us. He built big plant walls to separate us, but true friendship knows no bounds. The toughest part of this fight was the lack of ammo. We were desperate at one point and all started picking up shotguns and grenade mods off the ground because they provide a little bit of ammo, but we were mostly staying alive with teamwork and buzz-axe rampages. Hector was no match for us, and after a good half hour, he fell to our power. Well, kinda. He tried the good old kamikaze bad guy strat, but the DLC is over. So that means, yes, you can beat Commander Lilith in the fight for Sanctuary with only the power of friendship. One last thing we needed to do was save our Queen Butt Stallion in real life. It was honestly super easy, we just needed to do some mobbing, plus Brick was there, so we didn't really need to do mobbing. We fed the pretty pony using our amulet and... well, it didn't work. We didn't get a new Unicornsplosion. Like always, the wiki lied to me and said a new relic would get me a new one. But oh well, she dropped a flacker, which is close enough in my opinion. And just like that, peace was restored to the world. To celebrate, I decided to pop open my last Monster Assault, probably ever. A while back, they rebranded them, and they just don't taste the same anymore. So as soon as I knew they were temporary, I bought upwards of 200 of the OGs, and on this day, I drank my last one. These things have gotten me through a lot of rough days, and they've also made plenty of good days great. And I wouldn't want to finish it off any other way than with good friends after a monumental triumph such as this challenge. Let this video be your sign to go play some BL2 with friends like the good old days. Call up some old friends and do a playthrough, or find a homie in the comment section. I'll have these save files in the description if y'all a bunch of masochists like me too. And if you want to hang with me, I do stream these runs on Twitch. Link down below if you want to come stop by and say hello. Queen Knight also streams, so I'll add her link down there too. If you guys want to support the YouTube channel and more runs like these, make sure to like, subscribe, show a friend, and leave a comment. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and also motivates me to keep making these challenge run videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, breathe easy, homies.